Hope everybody had a great trading day today. Let me just tweet it out here so everybody join in. 1 second, please. Ba-ba-da-ba-bum. Oh, so I gotta type it in. All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today, and happy Monday, everybody. Hopefully, everybody had a blessed weekend and is doing great here today. So, what another nice bullish follow through day today with a little bit of a gap down, but kind of like the old days, right? You gap down and buy the dip. It seems like for a while there we were gapping up and shorting the rip. So that kind of brings us into today's topic, which is what is a trend day? So I think it's really helpful to know that. You hear the term around there sometimes, and it's just, what is a trend day? What does that mean? So we're going to cover that today, but before we get started, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good, good, good. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see where we left off with the markets here today. And then we're going to take a look at the futures and see what we're up to or down to here this evening and what might be setting up going into tomorrow. And then we're going to take a look at the topic, and then we'll go through questions and chart requests. So let's get started. All right. So guys, SPX. Let's take a look. Let me make sure everything's pulling up here okay. So yeah, so SPX, guys, what a month so far, right? As we are pushing all the way up into the prior month's bearish engulfing candle, right? So this is just a really, really big push here so far. We're only up 15 points here today, but look how far away. We're not that far away from all-time highs. It's really pretty amazing how we just kind of 1 week at a time, we're just chipping away at it, right? So last week was a big week. We finished strong into the end of the week after the Fed minutes, right? And then all the banks had good earnings, and that kind of got things going. So we closed 1, 2, 3. We closed over 3 weekly candle highs. And this week, we're getting really close to that 4th weekly candle high. And before you know it, we're 2 more away from all-time highs. So that'll be pretty interesting. Now, we've got more earnings on the radar, right? A couple of the big ones that are coming up. We got Netflix coming up tomorrow after the close. We got Tesla. We got Tesla coming up Thursday after the close. So that should be pretty interesting too, right? So that's going to give us a little bit more clue of some of the bigger names and how they're performing based on the stuff that's going on, supply chain issues, pandemic issues, inflation issues, right? All that stuff. So that gives us a clue on how things are going out and see how the market reacts to what the analysts posted for the targets for those companies, right? So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, today, guys, very, very interesting move, right? So we got really close to Friday's low, which means we're getting close to that gap, right? Maybe testing or filling that gap in the 50-day moving average, and it just said nope, 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 nope. See how that lower shadow tells us so much about that level, how important that level was. Really, really cool stuff. And once we saw that movement coming to the upside today, and it was early and it was important, right? That kind of showed us that things were really starting to take a bullish tone to it, right? And so today, now to be super duper bullish is tough after this big move, right? Because what do we have going on our wave count, right? We've got this 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we're in kind of this wave 3 of 3 potential, right? So this wave 3 move to the upside, right, is pretty big, right? So you kind of have this 1, 2, 3, 4. We kind of think that wave 5 is maybe almost done. There might be a little subwave in there that it's working on. But, right, we were expecting the possibility for a wave 4 pullback. Now, we did get this little pullback right here, right? But it's hardly a larger wave pullback, right? We'd expect more time, maybe a triangle or something like that. So we really want to see if this wave is continuing, right? Because don't forget, wave 3 is never the shortest wave. Now, right now, it's bigger than wave 1, so it technically qualifies. But a lot of times, wave 3 is the largest wave, right? So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if we gap up, continue, and then we maybe get a little pullback before they make a wave 5 push up to all-time highs, right? So that is a possibility there. Let's take a look at the futures and see what we're up to or down to here this evening. So I saw a little bit of bullishness here earlier. Just a little bit of a push right here. So we're down a little bit and kind of up a little bit, just kind of chopping around here. But we just got a nice little push here just in the last few moments. So it's kind of cool stuff, right? You can see here today was a big day, right? The big line that we were looking at today was this geometric line. Very, very important considering we were generally pretty weak when we overnight, right? We just kind of stayed down for the majority of the night. And then look what happened here this morning. Just kidding, right? And it actually wasn't even on that much volume. This candle right here was only 25,000 contracts. And at 940, that's not a lot. But it was enough today to get it over the geometric line, right? Close above the geometric line on the next candle, which did actually have pretty decent, 23,000, not even that big. But it's kind of made its move right here, paused, and then worked its way up again. Then we just chopped around for the majority of the day. It was really kind of like a triangle move, right? Really, really choppy stuff. And then a little bit of a push at the end of the day, and that was about it. So, again, kind of ran out of steam. So tonight, we'll see how we do. Right, we got this geometric line here, which we just broke out of. So we'll check and see how that holds, and we'll check and see how that geometric line holds as support, and where we go from there. So good stuff. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the topic, and then we'll get to questions and chart requests. But the topic today, or this week, is what is a trend day. So we're going to go over that. We're going to talk about what a trend day is, and then we're going to talk about what it's not, and then we're going to go through a couple methods of how to calculate it. Right. So ultimately, what is a trend? Right. So basically, when we look at a trend, there's a couple ways we like to define it. Right. But the very most simple way to define a trend is that we have a higher high. Right, so you have to have at least a one push right there. So is that a trend? No, right? There's only one high, and there's only one low once that starts to come in, right? But once we make a higher high, right? Once we get above this level right here, when we make a higher low, right? Then we could say that we're trending, right? And so really, this is the ideal area here to get involved in a trend move, right? So what we want to do, once we can confirm that we have the higher high and the higher low, right, we can look to get involved in this, right? That's, it's very similar to the Elliott wave technique, right, where we look at wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Now sometimes we can, right, we can front run that trend wave, right? This is where we know the trend is true, right? But don't forget, in each of these waves are subwaves, right? So we'd have a higher high, higher low, right? Higher high, right? So we'd look to get involved in that wave 3 of 3. So it kind of gives us that trend scenario. And then, right, you can see here that we have a higher higher low, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So really all an Elliott wave is just showing that we're in trend, right? So that gives us an idea, right? The other, of course, true, method that we like to use for understanding trend is using our trend lines. Right, so what is a trend day? So a trend day is a day that's actually moving. So sometimes the best way to understand a trend day is what it's not. Right, a trend day is not a choppy day. Right, and so that really helps us. And so a choppy day is one that we look at when we look at our market profiles. We do our market profiles every morning on the S&P futures. For the bubble report, right? So the bubblereport.com, the bubble report, and to help our members understand, what type of day we're looking at and everything. And so a lot of times when you see, kind of the easiest way to look at to determine whether or not it's a trend day or not is to kind of go to your daily candle, right? Is one of the methods, right? And just kind of see, right? So if you're working on an inside day, right? Let me go to SPX here. So see, that's got all our market profile notes and all that stuff on it. So on the shorter term time frames. But if you go to the daily chart, and you can see that it's working on an inside day, and things aren't really just moving. They're kind of bouncing off the highs, bouncing off the lows, and not really getting anywhere. And you go to your daily chart, and you see that you have an inside day, right? It's one way to tell that we're chopping, right? And another way to do it too is just to kind of draw your trend lines on it, right? And if you're not making higher highs and higher lows above or below a macro trend line, right, then you know you're not trending, right? So that's kind of one of the helpful things, right? So a lot of times you can just look at the chart and just be like, is it going up or is it going down, right? And if it's going up and a lot of other stuff is going up, right, that kind of gives us a lot of clues. So we kind of see right here, just real quick, just on this last couple moves. I'm going to do one more chart right here. Let's just grab this right here, okay? And we'll kind of go like this, right? So you can see here, if you look from the lows to the highs, you can do your first line right here. And this shows you here that the trend is up, right? And so by doing that, right, once we understand what the trend is, we can see if we're trending, right, to see what our slope is, to see what, what type of slope we are based on what the trend line is and what the trend line slope is. So if we're continuing to work our way up in an upward fashion at an angle that is similar to the trend line, then, especially on the intraday time frame. So if we take this, we kind of, if we're starting to look at a trend line right here, we can see that the angle here is 72 degrees versus this angle right here, right, which is 40 degrees, right? So we're in a nice trending day, and we're moving up, and we're putting in higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, right? So that is a trending day, right? So that's important to notice because as long as we continue to hold each of these pivots and continue to work our way up, right, that allows us to look for longs, especially when you see the market going long and you look for stuff, momentum moves and breakouts and other names. Like today, we were talking about the Qs all day today, right? So because there were so many strong names. Look at the Qs. I mean, just look at this. So here was the trend, right? So here's our geometric line that we put in the bubble report, right? So here's your geo line. Right, you can see that nicely going up here today. So what's the angle of the geo line going into today? So the angle of the geo line today is 25 degrees, right? At least on this angle here. Right, and then if you go here, you kind of eyeball it and just see what it looks like here just off of that higher low. We're already at 82 degrees, right? So anywhere over that 45 degree, anywhere over that 20 degree line, right, we're essentially trending as long as we're making what? Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, right? You can see the wave counts in here too, right? That's why Elliott wave makes sense, right? So higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, right? That's a nice trending day today. And so when we have that sector strength, when we have the strength on tech in the market, that allows us to look for names that either trade the market itself or the sector itself, or names that we've been waiting for breaking out, right? So one of those names out there, Otas, if you're out there here, you look at a name like Facebook. Well, Facebook was strong this morning, right? So what are we looking at here, right? So one of the cool things about Facebook, now Facebook isn't just a big dip buy, right? So it was nice here off the 200-day moving average. It gave us a nice move. But the thing I really liked about Facebook today is that it was lagging behind all the other FANG names. Right, all the other FANG names have been working their way up. They're pushing their way up. Apple's pushing their way. Amazon had a huge move. Right? Tesla had a huge move the other day. Netflix was strong recently, and Facebook just kind of blah. Right. So when Facebook was strong this morning, it gave me a lot of hope in this name that it would have a strong day today. Right. And so you can see here that it was one of the stronger names pre-market. It gave a nice push right here. But what did it do? Right. It put in a nice high. A nice. Oops. I got the channels on here today. Put in a nice high, low. And then what? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? So you can see that it was a nice move right here. So if you can catch this wave, especially once it broke out of our zones here today, just a very, very nice move and a very, very strong strong day today for Facebook, which makes it great, right? And there are other names too. AMD was a great one. We pointed it out at the open today in our group. We'll take a look at that. Looks like we got some requests. AMD was just a phenomenal day. I posted it in the public Twitter for you guys. And then we had F-Cell this morning, just because it was so popular in the the FinTwit space. It was, let's take a look at the hype name and all that stuff, and it was just so strong at the open. And look, it was working its way up, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, right? And then it had that big momentum move at the open, right? So that helps us look and detect that. So when we see that the sector is strong, we can go to those names like AMD, we can go to those names like Roku that are showing relative strength in the intraday, and look to put on positions and take trades, right? So that's the idea. So that defines what a trend day is, and the best way to do it is to define what it's not, and then we can look at the trend lines and look at the angles of those trend lines and see where we go from there. And then we can look at the market, and then we kind of drill in and look at within the sectors and the constituent stocks in the sectors, which ones are showing relative strength that we can look to trade. So this week we're going to look for a couple other ways to identify trend that I think you guys will like. That we're in a trend day to just kind of help, with extra guidance on it to be like, well, it's making a higher high. Like you can go in here, well, this is a higher high, this is a higher low, and then it just kind of gets real choppy and you get chopped up, right? That type of thing. How do you know, right? So we'll take a look at a couple of the candles that you guys can use this week, or a couple of the methods that you guys can use this week. I think you guys will like it. So anyway, guys, that's all for today. So at this point now, if anybody's got any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can, try to wrap as early as possible so we can all get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So good stuff. Let me get the daily chart up here. Woo, look at F-Cell. What a candle. Look at that volume today. Good grief. So this is earnings, and this is today. All right. So if you don't think retail can move stocks, goodness gracious, look at that. It's amazing, amazing stuff. So cool stuff there. All right. So Shirley sent a few in via email. Shirley, hope you're doing great out there. Let's take a look and see what you got on the radar. So Net. I know, a huge move on this name, the Cloudflare. Does Cloudflare, is Net like a, what is it, cybersecurity, or, I just need to look at it and see exactly what these guys do here. Cloudflare is global cloud service provider for a range of service businesses, all geographies, making them more secure, enhancing the performance of applications. Include application security, application performance, application security, application. Okay, so so Cloudflare's got some action on it. And what does it do? Does it do any volume on options at all? Yeah, it's okay. It's got some weeklies and stuff. So yeah, we can take a look at this anyway. So Net, very, very interesting right there. Yeah, strong move. Again, this sector has been really good. How's CRWD? Anyway, I wouldn't chase it here, but you can see that the sector was really strong. So I definitely think this is something to keep an eye on, right? And just kind of see how it goes. So that's a good find on that one, Shirley. The other one, yeah, we pointed this out earlier. The Santa Claus rally early on Macy's. I heard they're bringing Santa back without into the stores. So look at that, bullish. So that's what happened. So anyway, cool stuff here. Look at how Macy's runs. It loves to do like these interesting little flag patterns, and then just kind of break out and go and just start to move. But that was a huge candle here today. But it's not like the didn't give us a heads up, right? It kind of started to move right here with volume. Nice up day, and then today follow through. And I think there was some news on it recently. So if the Saks Fifth Avenue thing, but there was some. Yeah, here we go. So Jana Partners took a stake in it the other day on the 14th. So this was a big day for it, right? So a big company, right, investment firm took a stake in it here, and then it got that follow through, right? So that just kind of shows you the whales just kind of following in, right? So some cool stuff there. Nice on Macy's. We'll see if it gets follow through. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a little bit of a pause day, a doji day, or something like that going into tomorrow. But a nice move there. So careful chasing those big candles. Sophie, guys, just unbelievable, right? So just another push to the upside on this one. Let's see, Fubo again. Careful chasing right here, right? But I love that 3-day crazy pause there. Fubo, I really like. I love this inside outside day. Very, very strong with increased volume. Nice one there. Again, there's so many strong candles out there today. And Roku with the breakout over the 50-day moving average. Now, here's the deal. When you see like a lot of strong candles like this is the time where you can really look and find out which is the best one that you like about it. So Roku is nice, right? But if you weren't involved here and had didn't hold through this pain and then got the reward today, right? You can see the move is very simple. It's just a measured move up, right? So that type of thing. So the risk reward now is not really that great on Roku, right? We're over the 50-day moving average. Look, you got your cloud right there. So now your target is more than the length of today's candle. So I'd be a little bit careful with Roku. But other than that, it is a nice move, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more follow through the upside, but I'd just be careful with it. That's all. So good stuff there. And OTAS sent a few in via Twitter. So let's take a look. You got PayPal on the radar. Yeah. So I'm actually kind of liking PayPal. I love the bullish candle right here. I love the outside day over the doji. Right. This one's got a little bit of room to 50-day moving average. If you're involved in it from maybe a dip buy or something like that, okay, it's got room to 50-day moving average. To get involved here, risk reward's a little bit tricky on it, but I'm not saying that it's not going to move up to it. I would just be careful with it. SE, again, great breakout the other day and just kind of grinding its way up. And then Zoom. I love Zoom. I do. And I was really looking for, I think we talked about it last night, but we had this kind of up move, down move right here, and I love how it closed over the ADMA. The only thing I don't like about it is this volume. I was really looking at getting involved in it today, but it was just rough. But there are two other stay-at-home names that are kind of interesting. Keep an eye on Chewy, right? So this kind of did exactly what Zoom did, but right, so down off of earnings, still kind of grinding its way down, and this one actually had increased volume. So I like Chewy, and I like Piton, another stay-at-home name. The only thing about Piton, I like Chewy better. The only thing about Piton is you got that upper shadow off of the geometric line. Not saying it won't break out through it. I'm just saying I like Chewy the best out of those three. So keep an eye on it and see how it goes in tomorrow. And then you got Penn on the radar too. It's kind of blah. I think DKNG was the one that kind of made a little bit of a push there, but still an upper shadow. I think both of them kind of struggling there today. So just a little careful off of that. So that's about all for now. But see if it gets, that contraction turns into expansion. So good stuff there. JMOS, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. You got MT on the radar. Yeah, nice outside day today. Again, over the 50-day moving average, kind of running right into cloud resistance on this. But this, again, is ADR, so a little bit caution there. You got MRVL on the radar, one of the tougher semiconductors to trade, but when it moves, it moves. Nice outside day today, so let's see if that gets going. And then AFRM, nice meme name right here. Again, it had the, and I think you're the one who brought this up, right? So this is great. Again, this has been doing like this break, right? So just, again, it's starting to move again, so see if it pulls back again and gives another breakout, right? But pretty cool stuff on the AFRM. Nice day today on the inside day up. Good job. Yeah, my pleasure. OTAS, and then a butterfly on Amazon. Let's take a look. Yeah, you can see I've got it drawn right here. So you've got, we looked at this yesterday. It wasn't really quite a pause day today, but we looked at this. Here to here. Oops. Here, and here. So it's right at the 1.3. It's coming right. Look at that. The top of the cloud is about the 1.618, right? So that's definitely one to keep an eye on here. You could also look at it this way too, where you kind of look from here to here to here to here, and then see how high this goes, right? So that type of thing. But yeah, definitely looking like it's working on that CD wing of something, right? And I love that. What I love when you see a harmonic like this, what we like to do is we like to put the Elliott wave on once we can see an identified harmonic, right? So we can see a nice push down, nice 382 retrace, whatever the case is. Then we start to look for that could be the 1, 2, and then we can start in wave 3. And wave 3 is often that CD leg of the harmonic, which is pretty cool. So good stuff there. Tracy, what's going on? Good to see you. You're here early. I love it. So appreciate you tuning in. Let's take a look at Snap. And so let's see. Ooh, Snap with a bearish engulfing day today. That's nasty. Now, it did give you a big lower shadow, so that's cool. And it had huge volume today. And a lot of folks are talking about it. But I don't know. It's got a lot of work to do. So kind of doing its thing right here. Bearish engulfing day is pretty sketchy. I mean, it's got so many complex things. It's got a big lower shadow. It's got a bearish engulfing, so that's bullish. You got a bearish engulfing day, which is bearish. You got a close over the ADMA, which is bullish. And then you got a a rejection basically of the geometric line on a bunch of different levels right here. So that's kind of bearish. So it kind of balances out with just being totally challenging. So I just be careful with this here. Look for strength, look for a breakout through the geometric line here going forward. But you could also look at that too to see if it breaks down and maybe breaks down in earnings. So we'll see what it does here going into earnings coming up. So again, did not follow along with Twitter or Facebook and the social media names today. So pretty cool stuff there. And speaking of social media names, here's your Facebook, right? So beautiful close today above the ADMA. Again, this was just kind of like one of those dip buy things playing catch up to the other FANG names, which was a nice move. So we'll see if it gets any follow through. AMD was just beautiful. It was on our bullish radar last night. Certainly in the from our Discord, I put a bunch of swing ideas out there. I was like, hey guys, if AMD doesn't pull back, right? Because we were looking, it was getting a little bit extended right here because you kind of have this 1, 2, 3-ish type move. If it didn't pull back for like kind of a wave 4-ish type move, right now this could give a strong day trade today. And I said that on this one, and I said this on AMD. I'm sorry, and on Nvidia. And both gave phenomenal day trade opportunities today. We pointed out AMD at the open on our live stream this morning too, which is pretty cool. And folks did well on that, so good job on that. So AMD was good, and then Mr. Softy, fresh all-time highs today, right? So that just kind of gave a little bit of momentum breakout through that level right here. So we'll see if we can continue. Again, earnings coming up on this one pretty soon too. So again, big tech names been strong. Snoopy, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Roku, we covered a couple times right here. Like I said, beautiful breakout candle. Love it over the 50-day. Gave us a little more momentum once we got through the 50-day today. The only thing is entering here is a little bit of caution, right? Because we kind of did this measured move already. We have up, sideways, up. It kind of move. It's a little bit of move to the cloud, but entering today is a little bit tough at the end of the day, at least, because the risk reward isn't as good as it was on the initial, sideways move, right? But a great move on Roku. Let's even continue. If you kind of scroll out right here, you can see we did get to prior support, right? So we had a couple areas right here of interest here, right, and of course way back there, right? So again, it's trying. I'm not surprised it's doing this. How far it's going to go? Hard to say, right? We're still below the 200-day. Maybe it'll hit the cloud and try to work its way back down here too. So that's a possibility. But again, short term here, nice move today, and we'll see if it can tag the cloud. So good stuff there. And then NEO, of course, beautiful move right here. This is on Paul's bullish radar today from the bubble report, and he talked about it last night. Very similar. This was one of the, this kind of played catch up to the other names, right? We talked about XPEV last night, but Lee gave one of the strongest moves here, the strongest pullback moves, and a very nice move on that. So let's see how that goes there for NEO, but nice finding that one. Spot, I didn't look at this one today, but yeah, a little kind of choppy. Maybe the upper shadow day. See what it does. Could be working on like a sideways cup and handle, right? Maybe it'll make a move after earnings or something like that, but just kind of keep an eye on that geometric line and see how it holds. And then Snow from the bubble report today. What a great momentum move through our levels this morning. Look at that. These are the levels we put up, right? And boom, nice push through there, and then the rest of it, was like blah, but it was still a great day trade opportunity today. So again, okay, right? So you got an engulfing candle right here. Let's see if it can continue to work its way up. But again, nice move on Snow. Great stuff. Really appreciate it. Michael Phillips, what's going on? Good to see you. You got ICD on the radar. Yeah, independent contract drilling. I love it. Nice one there. F-Cell was just incredible today. Beautiful move. We pointed this one out at the open today. Bros. Decent move right there. Nice push. So let's see if I can go. DNN, the Dutch Bros. I know you mentioned these the other day. Doji up. Doji reversal up on the Denizen Mayans. A nice find of that one. And how's our uranium looking right here? Uranium looking good. Looking good. It's a nice move there. Nasty upper shadow, but looking okay right there. And then Snoopy, yeah, AMD. I love it. So again, this is like we said, this is a day trade idea. It was a swing idea that we said could turn into a day trade idea if it breaks above the hanging man high, which it did yesterday, and kind of took out anybody who was short off the hanging man and just kind of ripped to the upside. It was just incredible move. Incredible. We pointed out the 114 calls. We almost hit 117 today. Amazing move, and of course, Tesla. Thanks for asking about Tesla. So Tesla's tricky here, guys. It gave a nice, if you're a believer in Tesla, right, this one right here, this geometric breakout right here, no go, right? It pulled back up, upper shadow. We got above it, right, and formed another G, and then we started to get strong here. This is probably the day to consider if you liked it. And it's okay, right? Because this was about the same time that Amazon was starting to get strong too, right? And it ended up working its way up off of that, and then just squeezed out the shorts, and that's what Tesla does, right? I mean, Steve Burry was like, oh, I wasn't, it wasn't a long time short, it was just a trade. Okay, right, whatever. So anyway, but again, why are you shorting it, Bo, if it's over the 80 MA? I'm just saying, So anyway, just something going on there. Anyway, good stuff there. Robbie, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning on. So you got Square. I like Square, guys. We talked about it last night. We talked about this level right here. I love the essentially the outside day today. It's basically a bullish engulfing candle type move. I like it a lot. I just similar to Roku though. What I don't like is the risk reward, right? Because that's such a huge day today, and your next level up is the 50-day moving average. Like, is it really worth it to put a stop below this candle to get to this candle, right? You kind of put both together and you're like, the risk reward is not really there. But it is a pretty move, right? So nice move there on that. But that's kind of what I'm looking at there. And it does have a chance for an earnings run, but earnings are a little bit farther out. So let's say it does hit the 50-day, maybe hits the cloud right here, pulls back one more time, and then gets strong again. Maybe runs through the thin cloud to give us a little bit more of an earnings run, which would be pretty cool. And then Michael Phillips, Okta is about to net. Nice. About to net some money for sure. So nice candle right there. Good volume on that. And a good move there. So what else? So good stuff there. And then Tracy, you also have Crocs on the radar. Let's see. Yeah, Crocs is a nice push. But look at that. Just that face plant right into the 50-day moving average, right? So let's even get above that and kind of get going. And then amazing seeing Crocs at $160. Wasn't it $20 not too long ago? And FedEx, eventually this thing's going to try to get into this gap, but it's just struggling, isn't it? So maybe it'll work on like a mini little cup handle, right, and then try to get going through the gap there. So just see how that goes. But good stuff there. And then Snoopy, seriously, just a trade. Saw something about him now taking. I know exactly. Just a minute. Yeah, on a big Bitcoin short. Oh no! Why? Why Bitcoin? At least let's see how the Bitcoin future, the Bitcoin ETF goes. I mean, guys, my target on this one was the harmonic move, right? We pointed this out in our Discord at 5 a.m. on the 1st of October. And we said this had a potential, and it was like kind of around 45,000. We're like, all right, if it's working on a little butterfly move, right, we got a potential of the 1.618, right? So that goes 45,000 to about 50,000. That's a pretty good move. We basically continue to push above that, and I was like, okay, the 2.618, right? Let's see if it turns into, a Gartley type move, and pushed above there. I was like, okay, well, if it consolidates right here, it might get tight and get to the 3.618, and it did, right? Consolidated, continue to move, then you took the inside day up and pushed to the 3. And then look at this, huge. I mean, so at this point now, it's just beyond, right? It's gone escape velocity. Hodl, exactly. I mean, it's escape velocity right now. It's like it's past, it's outside the atmosphere. So, moon now, right? So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, pretty cool stuff on that. So yeah, it's just a trade. A trade is like, no, you didn't do just the trade on that. So anyway, but yeah, Kalani, Hawaii, what's going on? Yeah, shout out to Paul. I know he did a great job. He did a great job with Neo this morning. I love his, and then Apple was incredible too. Really, really nice stuff. And Apple, again, we talked about Apple last night. We put it in the bubble report. It was in his watch list this morning. Beautiful dip by here today off the 80 MA for a nice move. So again, Apple is, look at that. It's right at the 50-day moving average too. So let's see what it does. Might consolidate there for a little bit and then try to get going again for a little bit more. So we'll see how that goes too. But anyway, guys, really good stuff. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in this evening. It was a fun day today, guys, with the Qs really strong. Like I said, the big thing today, just the big takeaway today with the Qs was that it was playing catch up with the SPX, right? The SPY. The SPY got over the 50-day moving average and moved. The Qs was not quite there yet. We talked about that in the newsletter this weekend, right? We ended up gapping down this morning, which is a little bit sketchy. And then once we pushed above the 50-day moving average, that's where things started to get really explosive out of our names, right? So AMD, Tesla, Roku, right? Lots of nice strength. Amazon taking out the prior day's highs, right? A lot of NVIDIA, like a lot of these nice moves, right? With that tailwind behind you, when you've got the market behind you, it's so much better, right? So that's kind of the big theme. So anyway, guys, hopefully you found that helpful. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll see you guys here on YouTube bright and early tomorrow morning for the Good Morning Market Prep video. And until then, stay healthy out there and remember your risk first and stay safe.